Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so a little bit about the surveillance and the credit scores. This is what I was talking about. How many people are worth a credit score? How much do you need to uplift yourself in the community so you can feel better about yourself? So those that are less than can just disappear. I don't know where they went. Huh, weird. How many? How many is worth your good credit standing? Is it 6 million or 150? Right? Because we were told 6 million people died in that war. No, that was just the count of the Jews, not the other 150 million that biffed it. So we have this weird illusion that they're just going to pick one demographic and that's going to be it. No, they're going to wipe the majority of the population. Okay. That's what I mean when I ask you how many people are worth your credit score. You got your calculator out? You dialing in the numbers? No, you're not. You're going, no one, no, none. Okay. Well, you already got one. You already got one. And a couple other shootings and possibly a baby. They can't give you a social credit score if you're not willing to play the game. And that's the problem. Is too many people are willing to play the game. Okay. And we just want to go along with the crowd. There's a huge crowd that's like not going along with it. Okay, huge crowd. They just want to make you believe with a bunch of bots in the comment section that, communism is going to save us. No, some old, rich, entitled white man does not have the answers right now. Period. The end. Put the Marx bullshit down. Put him down. He does not have the answers. If we don't get the fuck off the entitled, rich, white men, dead word narrative game train, we are in a lot of fucking trouble. A lot of fucking trouble. Okay, because that ain't where it's at. That's the old patriarchy crap trying to like revive itself after having 13 heart transplants. Let the thing die. Let it die. If you want to beat it, go ahead. But it's you keep dragging it behind like it's gonna, perk back up one day. And that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. It is DEAD. If you need to bludgeon it, okay, fine. But shoving it in our faces and going, look, it's fine, is just because it's up against the jukebox, doesn't make it any more alive, okay? That wasn't the greatest thing, but whatever. When we can't let go of a system, okay, so this corpse that was America is now rotting, okay, and it's starting to fester and grow maggots, and we have too many people clinging to it, and now they're going to be diseased. They're going to get the zombiness, okay? They're going to be infected. So we need to use our discernment moving forward from here, okay? So we need to be able to let go of those systems that are siphoning, that are malfunctioning, that aren't even supporting us. They're depleting us to every fucking extent of human existence. They're depleting our time, our energy, our foresight, our freaking central nervous system. Everything is being depleted simply for having to exist here. Stress is now the new fucking norm. Well, it's always been the norm. excuse me, but they had to keep ramping it up because every time it's like a drug. Okay, it is a drug in our system. Threat or perceived threat, adrenaline and cortisol. Okay, when we don't die from said threat, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and dopamine flood in. Okay, that's our bond to the system. We are chemically attached to it because it hasn't killed us so far. Hey guys, they just put out an army that's gonna make the so far part go away, and the haven't killed us yet go away. Okay, they just did that. They said they're gonna do that, so why are we just believing them? Pull the cords, pull all the resources, pull it out. It's a difficult process. I am not gonna lie, it's difficult. It's a challenge because it's so pervasive. If I don't have my Pentacles, what worth am I? That's a difficult question to sit with. Am I worth anything when this isn't worth anything? It's about to not be worth anything. Okay? They see you as the parasite. They see you as the parasite and you're obstructing, and they're trying to detox right now. We're trying to do the same thing to one another. Okay? It's just who's going to win. They see the little guy that was born here as some sort of parasite that doesn't belong, doesn't deserve to exist here. Okay? And we see them as the parasites parasiting us, just not allowing us to live a freaking life. Okay? So this isn't life. Going to work, slaving away, and then handing all the things that you just slaved away for to somebody else just to live here is not life. We've been kind into believing that. Okay. And we're waking up to it slow but sure. But at the same token, we do need to readjust the system in which we choose to operate. Okay. And how we do that is we take our resources and put them into something we actually like. So here's the cool part. When we drop those systems, right? When we're like, okay, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to give you a timeout. I'm going to give you a fucking timeout. And then I'm going to come over here and say, okay, now that I put the parasite down and I don't have all my resources being completely siphoned from my existence, I get to have an idea. I get to have a belief. I get to have a structure of existence that doesn't involve some hierarchical authority figure telling me who, what, when, and my worth. That's a lot. That's a lot of power and responsibility to have to step into. Absolutely. It's a lot. But you know what sparks from that? New ways of existing in the world that they haven't even allowed us to conceive of. And we have to read the Marxist. No. Put it down. Pick up a pen. Pick up a notebook. Write out what life you want to live, how you want to live it, who you want to live it with, where you want to live it. Write it all down. Write it all down. Even if you think it sounds ludicrous, even if you're like, I want to live on freaking Unicorn Island with I don't care, it doesn't matter. Nobody is going to have access to your dreams except for you. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Okay? So many people have been told no and just gone around and found loopholes and whatever else. Keep going. Keep dreaming. Keep basing your dreams on the tectonic plates the Capricorn new moon is giving you. Be that freaking goat. Be the goat on the mountaintop, standing on the ledge that's this thick, going, what are you going to do about it, bitch? What the fuck are you going to do? Okay, all the naysayers, your friends or your family or society as large telling you you can't have any sort of autonomy, sovereignty, dreaming of a better life. Because if you can dream of a better life for yourself, do you know what you're going to create? A better life for everybody else. How tragic. because you are going to embody the energy. You're going to embody it. You're going to take it all into yourself. And then you're going to march through life showing everybody in your path that this is possible. Giving everybody access to viewing that energetic code, that embodiment, what it feels like, what it looks like, what it smells like, all this good stuff. We're watching that energy flow. That's the ultimate gift to humanity. It's just watching that energy of just, I exist here and I am vibing myself out. I'm following my heart. I'm fulfilling my life. And then I'm giving love and support from a place of fulfillment, not a place of depletion like we talked about a couple days ago. So giving from a space of fulfillment. But that requires you have to put down the things that are siphoning you, that are parasiting you. If you don't do that, you're not going to get to a place of fulfillment. This is where people really like to, cognitive dissonance in spirituality especially, is, oh, my physical world doesn't have anything to do with my spirituality. They are directly connected. What you uplift over here is what your spirituality is all about. And right now, this has not, it's blast in spirit. Pissing your own self off. That you supported the system. That you knew you were supporting, but you chose to support it anyway. Okay? That spirit signature of saying, you know, we didn't like this to begin with. And it is, that's why so many people are fatigued. We think it's some environmental, and it could be, abso-fucking-lutely, it could be an environmental thing. But so many people have spent decades of their lives pouring into a parasitic system that is never going to pay them back. Because they worked for the resources that they had to hand over to another parasite. Okay, so we're all having to come into that collective truth. So everything is a web and it's all interconnected. So what you support with your pentacles, with your resources, with your vital life force energy, your thoughts, your words, everything is energy. So when you're putting it into the toxic system, you're going to get the toxic system. It'll reproduce itself every single time. This is why they, again, don't want you looking at the tree of life by any means, because if you realize the fruit that it produces, you're going to be like, this isn't such a good idea, boys. Maybe we don't want to do that anymore. And the masses are going to get really mad when you look at the tree and go, I don't think anybody should be eating that fruit. And they're like, it's fine, we sprayed it. Okay, just an example. So this is a delicate process that everybody has to go through. I'm not trying to force you through it, but I am trying to tell you that if you want a different life, you have to be willing to put down the old stuff. Because then you get to spark the creativity. Then you get to come up with new ways of actually being in the world that don't involve massive amounts of poisoning, siphoning, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. And the other thing too is once you get safe in your central nervous system, different human abilities we haven't been allowed to explore for thousands of years will come on board naturally. It's just natural state of being human, not what they've told us. Okay. What do I mean that? Lady, what the hell did you just even step in? I can't even smell it. Well, come closer, darling. I'll give you a whiff. There was a point in time where we didn't need telegraphs. We didn't need consistent meetings. We didn't need any sort of men on ponies delivering messages. We didn't need it. Why didn't we need it? Why didn't we need clickety clackety? Why didn't we need it? how the fuck did human civilization even... I don't remember the name of the experiment, but there was the monkey in the mainland and the monkey in the island. And somehow one monkey discovered a new way to get food. And the monkeys on the separate place, divided by water, no monkeys getting across, started doing the same thing. Now, because Nazi white coats are Nazi white coats, they won't say the word because you can't talk about that. We're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they might put you in an oven. Okay, so the actual word for that, though, is called telepathy. Again, there's a reason why they want us thinking negatively, being negative, seeing things in a... There's a reason why. It's so effective. If we can just instruct a human being to lash themselves to death, we don't need to do it for them. And this is why they're on the streets terrorizing people right now, is because people stop lashing themselves to death. Oh no. So that's how the system works. This is why coming out of that negativity, it's not low vibe. It is not even who you are. You've got freaking lies squawking in your own brain that have nothing to do with who you are or what you are here for or what you're capable of. Nothing. They have nothing to do with it. So if it's not lifting you up, inspiring you, and allowing you to be the human you desire to be in this world, it's part of a structure that was designed to... Oh, you can't do that. Only the people in the movies can be the heroes or can be creative. No, that's not true. That's not true. So when you get the over inundation of low vibe, it is the systems programming. Again, I'm from the spiritual community. I sincerely apologize on behalf of the majority of the people in my community. It is a negative program that they installed, sometimes even through your parents, because the parents got it installed, their parents got it installed, and their parents got it installed. Okay. A lot of times the thing, like, for example, a lot of times the thing in my family was we need to fit in and do everything correctly because we're, where my family comes from is the majority of my great grandparents fled Germany for what the hell was happening there. Okay. So the system that creates that mentality of we have to fit in here, otherwise they're going to kick us out, puts a lot of fear into the central nervous system, and then you create those generational curses, passing that out down through your junk DNA, right, white coats? So this is all coming down into your system, and it's being fed through that system. So it's not that you need to condemn yourself for having the system. It's just you need to look at all of the structures that are feeding into you and siphoning your energy and keeping you from who you are, and say, okay, thank you for serving your purpose. Appreciate that. Now you got to go. Now you got to go. Okay? Because this is now depleting to the point of massive, massive trouble. Okay? And like I said, it could be the fatigue thing too, is because our people that can't seem to have even their own best interest at heart at this point, to let up on humanity and not birth this crap into the world. The comprehension of Well, let's go Rustin Cole on this one. When he says, I keep the crucifix to contemplate the moment in the garden where I concede to my own crucifixion. Lady, that guy was really fucked. No, he had it right. For the most part. Not all the way right. The dark and the light at the end, he doesn't know. Anyway. But it's a moment. It's a moment in time. We're literally at the come to Jesus moment. But this is the real come to Jesus moment where we're like, do we really need to hop up on a fucking cross for humanity to be okay? We really don't. It's never been necessary. It's never been necessary. The people at the top just wanted us to worship human sacrifice so they could perpetuate it on the planet. Okay, we're learning lessons here. Just learning lessons. Can't go back in time, can't change anything, but we're learning lessons, okay? The Mayans had the same fucking problem. Everything, I think, Norse, Vikings, they did the human sacrifice thing. Everybody did the human sacrifice thing. But the thing is the Dark Triad, the Abrahamics will, they'll wait a while, and then they'll be like, oh, it's a haphazard genocide time, darling. Which countries shall we select down? I don't know why they have British accents, but they do. Keep up. Just go with it. So, again, once we drop the parasitic systems, the new can come in. The relaxation of like, oh, that's right. I am. So I am. It's a difficult, because like, that's narcissistic. No. Honoring your own existence is the opposite of narcissistic. Narcissists can't even get in their own skin. Okay, narcissists are like all the way on the outside of themselves, constantly scanning for the next source, supply to parasite off of. Okay, that's the opposite. Getting in here and going, you know what? I'm inherently worthy. I really am. This whole proving myself thing needs to fuck all the way off so I can remember who the fuck I am supposed to be here. And that's not going to come up if you're constantly inundated with people telling you who, what, where, how, when, with whom we should be. We're not allowed to sit down and have that sacred time to actually figure that out. Meditate! Stomp everything out in your brain! Don't let anything exist there! Okay, that's one way, but then if you're not asking more to come up through that, being a blank slate, that can be a little tricky too. You gotta be careful. You gotta be real careful. I'm all good. I'm all for getting into a good meditation so you feel comfortable in your body, so that those wounds and the truths are allowed to bubble up. Absolutely. But it's not just about letting them pass through. It's about saying, okay, I acknowledge that you existed. I honor the fact that you needed to exist for my preservation. I now release you. This is how this keeps cycling back, is because we don't consciously release. Witnessing is great. Witnessing has a great power, but if you're not taking action, the next time you sit down, that same cloud is gonna come through and be like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay? Moving out. And then once it's cleared and cleaned out of the system, then you can start going, oh, now that thing is gone, all these new other cool things are popping up. What am I going to do with those? You're going to play. You're going to play like a little kid. You're going to explore and play like a little kid. Lady, I didn't expect it to take this direction. Huh? You're going to play like a little kid, and you're going to create a new way of being in the world for yourself. Okay? And it's going to have nothing to do with back there. Okay? It's going to be completely new. It's going to look, smell, taste, feel, sense differently. Okay? And that's going to allow things like telepathy and things, other innate human abilities, like healing our own selves, healing our bodies. That's another reason why they don't want you safe in your body. It's because it keeps going into a community of people that parasites your bank account. Cute, huh? Okay. So tap on your thalamus. Okay. Get into that safe, comfortable zone where you are fiercely compassionate and come into this idea that, like, you don't have to be cookie cuttered. You didn't come here to be just like everybody else. You didn't come here to be some sort of weird paradigm program that the system needs you to be in order to parasite the max amount from humanity. That's not a function that ever needed to exist. Okay? It just isn't. It never needed to be here. We allowed it. We paid for our own enslavement, and they tricked us into doing it. This is the system's way. This is how the system keeps control. Okay, whatever you want to call the system. Some people call it archon. Some people call it the diablo. Some people, whatever. It's just an energetic pattern, because when you start labeling crap that you don't know about or you don't want to have anything to do with, or blah blah blah, that creates an avoidance in your system. It's an energetic pattern that everybody's allowed to touch and explore and be curious about. It's just an energetic pattern. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever will be. Money's an energetic pattern. And this is the result of feeding that particular vein of existence with the money energetic pattern. Okay. So everything is energy. Choose where you want it to flow. Choose where you want it to go. Take it from the unsupportive systems and create something for yourself that's actually sustainable. That doesn't involve unaliving people who don't have enough, who didn't have the sense to hoard all of the pentacles, who didn't have the sense to hoard all the dollar bills, darling. Darling, if you're not a hoarder, what good are you? Do you see how illogical? So just come into this sensation of being, okay, I'm okay in my skin. I can make sovereign choices for myself. And I can choose the systems I support and uplift. And I can see through everything that's being thrown at me right now. Oh, what is it? The Way Forward just put out, I think it was a short, and he went down and he listed the 9 systems they're literally throwing at us right now. Pretty impressive. Go check it out. The Way Forward. So if we just hold tight and don't partake in their, right? But we protest on behalf of human freaking existence, I guess, at this point. We're going to get through this with flying colors if enough of us come into our own. Now, I don't think the whole of humanity is going to be able to grow a pair of gonads overnight. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, and that's the thing, is like, this is why I leery of men communities, because they are still kind of subconsciously attached to these things and are not calling to defund the system because they're relying on the system. So it'll be an interesting play out how people actually see their worth in the world. You're only worth the system working. What? The system is your enslaver. Maybe don't support that anymore. And that's the thing, is like, we have this weird idea that the worth is tied to your actual value, as if like your pentacles in the bank or the 401k or whatever it is, stock market, blah 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 blah, are your worth. That defines you as a human being. I've invested my whole life in working for these Pentacles. Okay, and this is where it's got us. I can understand that's a difficult pill to swallow. I mean, you know, I've spent my time hauling butt for a lot of places and people that, that's kind of how the system is trying to point out to us. Stop giving to places that don't reciprocate. Because now, again, we're stuck in this giving from a state of lack rather than finding our fulfillment and giving from that space. Literally two different worlds. It's crazy. When they said New Earth, I was like, oh God, not some fucking spiritual propaganda. I think this is going to be the New Earth. Like giving from depletion and, you know, providing this slave master crap to be propped up against a fucking jukebox, or the like giving from a place of fulfillment and creating nurturing, loving, amazing, innovative environments for human beings to live in. It'll be interesting, to say the least. So just be mindful of like going back to any, you know, rich, entitled, white dead men's words, because that's going to get you in a lot of trouble in the near future. We need to be completely on solid ground, but we need to be in a place where we are not obstructing our own creativity because we're still holding on to systems that clearly do not have our best interest at heart. None of them. None of them that we currently are upholding have anybody's best interest at heart. None of these corporations are going, hey, these people are paying my bills and my employees' bills. Stop fucking to them. Otherwise, they're, you know, they're not going to pay them anymore. So, and there's, you know, you could think to yourself, well, that gives them a reason to unalive me. No, it doesn't. It tells them, I'm finished with this system. Bye, Felicia. So once you take the energy away, and shift it over to something else, that energy can't exist anymore, especially for you. And that's what they're terrified of. They wouldn't need to use violence if they weren't already terrified. Pull the plug. Take your energy and shift it into a life you love rather than a life you loathe. Okay? So that's what you can do to make room with this new moon for these beautiful things to flourish and grow. Is when you set everything down, all that space opens up for creativity and beautiful, wonderful things to flourish rather than beating a dead horse. Okay. Until next time, I love you and keep your flame.